G'day everybody, we're back.
We're continuing our paint job on our 09 FXSTC softail.
Ooh, so having said that, let's get started or keep going. Now we're going to take some guide coat. Just go like that, turn it upside down. Get some on the sponge. We're just going to put that on our primer. It just helps you see, make sure you've got all the orange peel out of it or any chips or anything like that. They'll show up black. We're going to start with some 400 and we're going to keep it on the primer. Just like that. You can see the line in the guide coat. Just give that a wipe there. And that's what it's for. It just helps you see what you're doing. You don't have to use it. You can see it even without the guide coat, but it's just easier this way. There we go. We're staying mostly on the primer right now. Just start to feather that edge out. That's all. And same thing on the rear fender. We're just roughing it out in 400, so leave some to work with in your progressive grits. Just lightly. Now we're going to do our 600, and now we're going to use our softer sponge block. Very gently, and you go a little further now. Once you've blocked it, go by hand. Just go a little further than you did with the 400. And you can see this is why we put that soft edge on there. Like you can't even feel that. It just feathers back so much nicer. Just gently. You don't have to press too hard. Like I said, if your paper gets dirty, just that'll clean it right up. Pull that off. Now I'm going to show you guys a neat trick. We're going to sand the whole surface now with 800 wet, and we're going to get to that. But before we do, you don't want to break through all the edges and stuff all around here, and where it's really hard to get really tight up to these little rivets. I want you to take a Scotch pad and go over all the edges. You can do the whole surface, it won't hurt anything. Really get your fingernail in there. Get all around these rivets, just so that the paint doesn't peel. It's got some scratch to stick to. This isn't as good as sandpaper, but it's better than nothing at all. So in these like really hard to get into spots up in here and that, tuck that thing in there and get in there. This one hasn't peeled in 14 years. Like, we don't want it to start now. So just take your Scotch pad and go over the entire surface, get all the edges. With this, it's gentler. You won't have a tendency to break through, and it just takes a second. So we're just going to do that real quick. Right up on there. Like, you can't remove these. They're riveted on. All around these. We're just going to mask these up. Like we said earlier, we're not taking them out. They're not really in our way. We can do this. Like even right in this little seam here, it's a little more difficult to get in there with sandpaper. Just make sure there's something in there and then try to get it out as much as you can with sandpaper. We're going to blow that off. I know this sounds like shit on camera. Okay, now we're going to sand the whole surface in 800 wet. Just spray the water right on your paper. You can spray the part. It's just not as messy this way. Just by hand, the whole thing. And wipe that off. Now we're going to wet sand in 1000. Same process as before. Just now that you've got it all wiped down, just check it for any orange peel or anything you may have missed. You can see it. And this one looks pretty good. There's no orange peel left. So we're just going to take that down with 1000 grit. Just like that. And wipe it down again. Now you really check it over because that's it. Now we're going to start putting color on. Okay, and this is what I mean by check it over. You see the little bit of dimpling there? That's a little bit of orange peel left. So we're going to work that spot a little more. This is why we wipe it off, let it dry, and check it over. Now we're going to do this one in 1000 grit.
Why would that focus? I tried.
No, it does that every time. It's like that ball joint. Just the second you turn the camera off, that's when it slipped right in.
Yep.
And there we go. Just wipe that down. You see a tiny bit of orange peel there, so we're just going to touch that up. That's what we're looking for. We want the surface completely flat. Good. Now we're going to put some fine line tape over our black here, and we're going to spray our yellow. If I can ever find the end of it, I think that's it. Is that it, or is that just a bump?
Oh, I think it's it.
Yeah, no, that's it.
There we go.
We're just going to cover that up so we don't get yellow on it. I think my painted stripe is a little wider than the tape. I might have to use 2. Sorry folks, I need my glasses. I'm not as young as I used to be. Okay, now when you're going along like this, say you get a little off track like that, don't panic, just lift it up to where it's good and go over again. Take your time. You lead with this hand, and you apply with this hand. See, I'm a little off there. Just lift it up. Come back. Don't pull it too hard. Keep like a little bit of slack in it, or it'll lift. If I just yank on it like this, you see it'll lift back up. Just nice, light little pressure. And if we do get a little yellow on it, well, we got ways to deal with that too, so don't worry. Just like that. There you go, and check it, because this is right where we're spraying, so this is where it really matters. Oh.
And do the same to the back fender. Off a little bit there. Just be patient, folks. And wash this down with wax and grease remover again.
Wipe off the residue with a clean dry rag. And the front fender too. Let's go ahead and mix our paint. Let's stir it anyway. It's already mixed.
Ooh. That's a pretty color.
Yeah, that's gorgeous. Yep. Now we got another surprise for you too. Today, this is such a small amount of color and we want to keep it small. We've got a good color match. We don't need to be spraying the whole surface with yellow. So we're going to take out the airbrushes. We got a few different kinds here. They're all basically the same. We've got a Mac here. I have some others. I actually can't find them right now. I haven't taken them out in a while. But we're going to show you how to use an airbrush. And what we're going to do is we're going to put like a chick riding a dragon with a sword and maybe a wizard in. I'm just kidding, guys. We're just going to spray the yellow, but we're going to show you how to use one. We'll get to that. All you guys with the Vans with a little heart window in the back, don't worry. We got something for you too. Don't worry. Everybody gets the show here. Now, because the airbrush has such a small receptacle, you can do it. I mean, it's got a little center in it there. It's hard to strain it into the airbrush, so we're going to strain it into a clean receptacle and make sure it is clean. Yeah, is that clean? Yeah, that's clean. Make sure there's nothing in there. And then put it in the airbrush, and then it's already strained. This is already reduced. Because we're running it through the airbrush, we're going to test it out. We might have to reduce it further. We're just going to reduce that a little more. Just like that. Okay, mix that up. Let's put her in the airbrush. Okay, now when you're choosing an airbrush for your job, there's a very technical way to do this, and I'm going to show you how. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Okay, we're using the Mac. Now we're going to go ahead and clean our airbrush before we use it. You see the tip's all blue from the last color that was used because somebody used it and then put it away dirty. My artist daughter here gets in all our paint supplies. Okay, we got a little portable compressor here, and we're going to go ahead and plug that in. And if you use one of these, hold that up there, Sarah. Use one of these. It's just easy. They don't really have an on and off switch. You just plug them and unplug them from the wall. But this does, and you just hit that power bar and you can shut it off and on as you need it. Try not to leave it running with the airbrush hooked up. It will build pressure and you can blow the seals out of it. So shut it off when you're not using it. Very carefully pour that in there. Okay, hit the compressor. Okay, we're going to take our tack rag. We're going to take off our parts one last time before we spray. Try and go one direction off the panel, like that. If you go like this and then you back up, if you were pushing any dust right where you stopped there and backed up, that's where you're going to drop it. So try to go in one motion and off the panel like that. You can start like this and just pull off. Okay, now when you press down just like that, you're going to get air. As you draw back, you're going to get volume. And just like always test spray off the vehicle and see how your setup is. And that looks pretty good. She's doing everything she's supposed to. Okay? There you go, guys. Okay, don't try to cover it in one coat. Get in close there. You can still see it. It's Gonna take a few coats to bury it.
Let that flash for 5 to 10 minutes. How to bury it in one coat. You can see, especially with yellow.
Oh, especially with yellow. It's very transparent.
Take your time.
Yeah, take your time. Let it build. Tack it off. Get any of that dry spray that may have landed on other parts of the fender. And if you see any spots you gotta touch up, like around here, we're gonna go ahead and hit those with a little color too. There you go. That's the overspray we picked up. It's hard to see yellow on a yellow tack rag, but you can see it. And that's all the overspray. That would have been like graveliness in our clear coat. We wanted as smooth as possible with as little dry spray as possible so we get a nice job at the finish. You can see on this rivet here, we had a little bit of a breakthrough on the corner there. And we put a little color in there too. So if you see any spots like that, now's the time to touch them up. A little bit here where it mounts to the bike. Those usually get scratched up there. Just put a little color on that. And another coat. You see now it's really starting to cover it. I figure 4 should do it. Even when it looks covered, give it a couple of more coats just so when it's out in the sun it doesn't come out transparent. Get up under the edge.
Let it dry for about 5 to 10 minutes.
That was our last coat of base now. It's looking good. Now we're going to peel off our tape. Isn't that neat? There we go. Did some get through there? Well, not really. It's a little foggy there, but either way, we're going to show you how to do something. I'm actually kind of hoping someone get under there. But we can paint it just like this. But we got a bit of an edge here, right on the line. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick color sand, and we're just going to soften that edge down. That's why we brought that gray primer back. So there's yellow paint underneath there. We're going to soften that down before we clear it so it's nice and smooth when we put the clear coat on. There isn't a heavy lump there. Isn't that gorgeous?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, wait till we make it shiny. Same thing with the back one. And we got some light overspray here. You can see there's some yellow on that. We're going to tack it, but we're also going to color sand this a little bit. Just like that.
Don't forget to pet the cat.
Don't forget to pet that cat.
No.
You forget to pet her.
Oh man.
Oh, she came back. She
Yeah.
always comes back.
Aw. There we go.
Kidding, that little butterball. She never gets far, I'll tell you that.
Don't forget to pet the cat.
Yeah, it's not hard to catch her if she runs away.
Meow meow.
More of a waddle, really.
Puffalump.
Okay, I'm just going to spray down our paper again. We're going to try and not get it everywhere. And make sure this is really dry, like we left this for a while. It's not going to hurt it. And just go right along the edge and soften that line. Right where you had the tape. Very gently. And when we clear this, it'll lay down. You won't see the bump in there from the tape edge. Just wipe that off, and then we'll tack it. And the same on the front. Wipe that down with clean, dry towel. Okay, you can see a tiny little bump there where the yellow's getting in the black. So we're just going to sand a little more. sure you got all that edge out of there. Don't worry, we got yellow underneath it. And it's a good color match.
That's ready for clear.
Take your tack rag once again. And this time, it's nice and dry. I want you to kind of, not horrendously, but rub a little bit more. Kind of break it all loose. If there's anything stuck to this base coat, give it a good rub, especially where there's dry spray. You can see what we're getting off of there. And then we'll go all in one direction, like that, and pick it all up at the end. To suit up. Are you ready?
Yep.
Let's clear. Ready, Rock? Put your hood up.
Yep.
Now we're going to go ahead and mix our clear. And this is Bestman's highest end clear that they have, and that's what we're going to be using. This clear is 2 to 1, so it's 2 parts clear to 1 part hardener. We've got 2 to 1 on our stick here, so we're not going to need as much as you think. So we'll probably mix it up to the 3, maybe the 4. And that should be way more than we need. In fact, I think we're going to go with the 3. And if we need more, we'll make it. This is their slowest reducer. You want to use this especially when it's warmer. And it also flows out a little better. You'll get less orange peel. But it will take longer to dry. Stir that up really good. And strain that into the gun. Go ahead and talk.
What? You can't understand me?
Okay, we got to put our masks on here. We already showed everybody how to set up the gun in previous episodes, so we're just going to go ahead and shoot it. There's our first coat. We're going to let that flash about 10-15 minutes, just like glass. It looks shiny, but you still need 2 coats. It doesn't matter what you do. If you leave it like this, as it dries, it'll sink back. It won't look as glossy. It'll get kind of dusty looking. So you have to put another coat on, even if it does look perfect. And that's it, folks. That's 2 coats. That's all she needs. We're going to let that dry. We're going to put her together and detail her in the morning. There we go. Let's have a nice look at that. Yeah, that turned out pretty darn good. Like I said, if you do good prep, you'll have less trouble at the end, and that's why we do that. So take your time, be patient. Well, that's it for tonight. I hope this was helpful to somebody out there. We sure had a lot of fun doing this. We hope you did too. Good night, everyone.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Good night, everybody.